our game was fascinating.
Yeah.
We weren't really sure exactly what Illinois was going to look like heading to College Park and what Maryland was going to look like coming off their first loss of the season to Ohio State. Illinois wins on a game-winning field goal by Caleb Griffin, 27-24. There's a lot to break down in this game. Let's first just state the obvious. Maryland was missing 5 starters.
Yep.
Let's start there. 2 high-impact starters on the offensive end and 3 high-impact starters on the defensive end. 5 guys that mean a lot to their team. But Illinois was missing a number of guys who are legitimate
Right.
impact players, especially on that defensive front. And so Luke Altmaier, the one interception was a tip ball. Otherwise, he took care of the football. And
Yeah.
that was really all Illinois needed. It's really all they've needed all season to this point, and their defense had played a pretty good game overall.
Yeah, I thought they did, and I thought they played good defensively the week before against Nebraska. They just didn't get much going offensively, but I thought they played a complete ball game, and it was one of those things you could just feel this happening. And Mike Loxley, we had shots of him, and you could tell just by his facial expressions that he knew they were letting this team off the hook because they had a chance. There was a big swing right at the end of the first half. And then Illinois was able to come out and score to start the third quarter. And really, Maryland had a chance to be up, 21-7 maybe?
21-7,
right?
yeah.
21-7. Instead, it's 14-14. And so, right there in that moment, Maryland let Illinois stay in the ball game. And when you do that to a team that's not expected to win or not expected to pull the upset, it gives them a great boost. Great momentum, great confidence. They came out and played the second half and deserved the win. They really did. They played well.
From the Maryland side, real quick, we talked to everybody there, and their goal this season was to compete for a Big Ten championship, compete in the Big Ten East. This is a crushing loss in terms of that in particular, but they get the bye week this week. Then they go to Northwestern. That's a winnable game after their bye week, would get them to bowl eligibility. And now, after that, we showed it, their schedule is basically the 2 shots that they want. They got Penn State and they got Michigan, and they've got them at home. And so it's still a team, certainly if they can get healthy, they get Corey Dyches back because it felt like they missed him dearly, especially on third down, especially in the red zone this past week. They get those defensive backs back who mean so much to their team overall, especially Dante Trader, who's a great tackler in that back line. They are talented. They are plenty talented to compete with those types of teams. The question is whether or not they can find a way to actually beat one of them. And if they play anywhere close to what they did last week, they got no shot.
Yeah, and the problem is the reason this last loss was so crushing is now, to even be considered having a chance, they have to win both of them. They have to beat Penn State and Michigan and hope that Ohio State loses another one. So it's one of those things where they really dug themselves a hole. Now they can still have a great season and find their way into a really nice bowl game, but it's going to be very, very difficult for them to compete for a Big Ten championship because of that loss to Illinois. They could have survived the one to Ohio State if they come back and take care of business down the stretch. But now with 2, it's going to make it very difficult.